Hey guys, it's Mrs. Gerard. Yes, I'm speaking to you from far away. So, I'm here today to present to you your next big paper, your serial thesis paper or your serial theory paper, whichever you prefer. But first, I want you guys to look at, you should have your blue paper in front of you, and it has your assignment on it. So let's look at it. Serious thesis paper. Let's read that first paragraph. So you should have it out, you should be following along. You have now listened to all or most of the episodes of Serial, so you have heard the information presented about Adnan's case and Hayes' murder. You have read Jay's interview with The Intercept. And so now you must make your own conclusion about the podcast clear. Now your conclusion may be that Adnan is guilty or innocent. Your conclusion might be that Adnan's trial is flawed. It might be that the justice system is not objective. You will write a research paper about your conclusion. The best part is that your research is almostly complete. Your research was listening to the podcast. You'll probably want to re-listen or reread to episodes to help you write your paper. The research will help you prove your conclusion. So, one of the first things you're going to do is you are going to pick what you're going to write about. So, there are several different things you can write about. You can write about if Adnan is guilty or innocent or not guilty. Colin, I put that one in there for you. Was Adnan's trial and investigation fair? The justice system is or isn't objective. Sarah is or isn't a reliable narrator. Or maybe you have another idea about what you want to write about with Serial. So if you have another idea, make sure you clear it with me. All right, so let's look back at your paper. All right, so part B on this paper is just a basic idea of what should be occurring within your paper. The important things to keep in mind, and basically show me what you think through explanation examples and not just tell me, right? So you have your introduction paragraph. So things in your introduction paragraph should be like who wrote the text, what's the title of the text, is there anything we need to know to understand your thesis, what's your topic, what are your subtopics you're going to discuss in each paragraph, and then your thesis. We'll talk a little bit later about this idea of a thesis formula, A plus B equals C. But for now, let's just keep going forward. So we'll go through the body paragraphs. You have to have your topic sentence, have quotes in there, transition sentences, analysis. Then you'll finally have your conclusion. Make sure you restate your thesis and your conclusion and your points of analysis in each paragraph. Make sure you remind your reader what is the point of them reading your thesis? Why should they read it and why does it matter? So a couple of requirements for you guys. Of course, it needs to be MLA format. You need to have a works cited page. Your essay is 3 to 4 pages long. This does not include your works cited page, all right? So with your works cited page, it'll be 4 to 5 pages long. You're going to have it typed. It'll be turned into turnitin.com. You're not going to put your name on it. Just put your student number in the top corner. I'm interested to see if anonymity, sorry guys, affects grading and whatnot. Page numbers and header, you need to have a hard copy of the essay in class on the final due date. So your first assignment will be your outline. That will be 20 points. And that's going to be due on the 29th to 30th of April. That can be typed or handwritten. But I want you to have a detailed outline. What are your subtopics? What are you going to talk about in each subtopic? Your ideas that you're going to talk about. Your thesis should be in there. Evidence you're going to use. So all the hard work should be done on your outline. You're going to type up your rough draft, and that will be due on May 4th and 5th. And that day we'll work with peer editing in class. And then finally, your final essay will be due on May 11th and 12th, depending on if it's an even day or an odd day. It's 100 points for your final, 40 points for your rough, and 20 points for your outline. So let's go back to the PowerPoint. I want to talk to you guys about a couple of things before I leave you. All right. So I'm going to talk this idea about your thesis formula, right? So the formula is A plus B equals C. You need to know that A stands for your position. Your position is what you think about a topic. So if the question is Adnan is innocent or not guilty, or maybe he is guilty, then you need to state that position, right? Then B is the second part of your thesis. This is the so what. When I say so what, you're trying to tell your audience why does your position and why does your paper matter? Why is it important for them to read your paper? Okay, so think about when your teacher tells you about the Pythagorean theorem. You're like, so what? When am I ever going to use this in class or at home or in the real world? The teacher's going to tell you why it matters. Okay, so B is the so what, or telling someone why this paper or this idea matters, right? And then C just stands for complete. So when you have your A plus your B, your thesis is complete. All right, so let's talk about this. Is Adnan guilty, right? So innocent or not guilty. Now, Adnan is guilty. Oops. Is guilty. The podcast, Serial, investigates and questions many people and events involved with the case. Adnan's guilt. Guilty. Adnan's guilt is important to prove. Because it supports the idea that our justice system is functional and correct. Okay, so right here, this is my thesis. All right, Adnan's guilt is important to prove because it supports the idea that our justice system is functional and correct. So everything that I talk about in my paper is going to tie into this thesis right here, okay? So I'm saying Adnan is guilty. I'm saying it's important for us to prove this because it supports the idea that our justice system is functional and correct. Now, it could go either way. If you want to say Adnan is innocent, you could talk about proving Adnan's innocence is important because it can show that our justice system is flawed and there needs to be corrections to the system or the way we do things in investigation. All right, so that is the thesis formula. Now, we need to talk a little bit about citation format for podcasts. So when you do your works cited page, you are going to cite your episodes that you refer to, right? So each episode needs to be referred to as its own entity, right? So in the Harry Potter series, each Harry Potter book is going to have its own citation, right? An individual one, because they're all different books. Think of that the same way for a podcast. Each episode is its own book in a series. Now, here's an example right here for the first episode. So the alibi, the title in quotation marks with a period. Then serial is the title of the podcast. It's in italicized since it's the name of a series. NPR is who creates it and supports the series. WBEZ is the call letters for the radio show. The call letters, it takes place in Chicago. And the first air date was October 3rd, 2014, period. And then you put the type of media it is, podcast, period. All right, so we're going to practice a little bit. I'm going to show you. So the breakup is the title of episode 2. So to maintain, go period after the breakup. Then I'm going to do serial, period, NPR, period, Z, comma, Chicago, comma, 3 October 2014, podcast, period. All right, so this right here is the proper citation format for episode 2. Now, when I was looking on the website, I could not find the air date on serialpodcast.org. So I went to Wikipedia and found it on there. So you know how to create the citation for the works cited page. Now we need to talk a little bit about this requirement. So when you write a citation for the works cited page, I've already mentioned this, but each episode needs to have its own citation, and it's only the episodes that you refer to. So if you only refer to episodes 3, 4, and 5, then that's the only ones that are going to appear on your works cited page. All right. Now, in text citation. So when you are quoting something or paraphrasing something inside the text, this is what it's going to look like in the paper. So this is a paraphrase. So that's why it's not in quotations. I used my own words and wrote it like this, but I still need to cite it in my text, right? So on January 13th, 1999, Heyman Lee went missing. Now, parentheses, the title of the episode, so the alibi. And the reason why the alibi comes first is because it's the very first thing you see on the works cited page. So if you were referencing episode 2, then you'd put the breakup instead of the alibi, right? Year it was published, and then the timestamp. So this is the time that it occurs to. Now, this isn't an accurate time. I didn't have access to the podcast when I wrote this, so I just put in 5 minutes and 7 seconds. But the information might take place at like 19 minutes, 22 seconds. So you need to put the timestamp in there if you can. All right. Now, I need to emphasize this for you guys. If your essay is not in MLA format, I'm going to give you an F. All right. So MLA format means your citations are correct. You have 12-point font. You have Times New Roman font. Your header is on the right side of the page. Your citations are put in correctly. So in case you don't know what MLA format is, here's what it is. And that's a great question to ask, right? So I'm going to show you a little bit about what it looks like. Now, this right here, actually before I show you the paper, I'm going to show you this handy dandy website. So owlenglish.purdue.edu. This is put together by Purdue University. Now, you'll notice on here, there's all kinds of information on here. There's a sample paper, a sample works cited paper. If you're not sure how to cite books, or maybe you need to cite a periodical, anything you'd ever need to know is on this website. So this right here is a sample paper, right? So notice the header is on this side of the page. Name, teacher's name, class name, the date. The last name of the writer is in the top right corner with the page number. Your titles are centered and written in 12-point font. They're not bolded, they're just regular text. And then it's double spaced. See, there's the citation right here. A proper indent. Scroll down. Notice how there's the quotes, the page number is in there. If there's the author's last name and page number right here. All right, and then we have up with the note page. Here's our works cited page. Notice how the works cited page, it's works cited at the top, centered, and then it's alphabetical order, and it's a hanging indent, and it's also double spaced. All right, so this is the basics for MLA format. All right, so if you have any questions, you guys have my email, or you can send me a tweet on Twitter, or you can always send me a message on Edmodo. I will be back in class Monday morning. And remember, you guys have your reflection assignment with the documentary I Am. That's due Friday night at midnight. All right, so make sure you get that in. I'm looking for detailed answers. And I guess I will talk to you guys later. Bye.